All right.
Hello.
Hello there.
Thanks everybody for being with us through those little technical difficulties. My name is Jennifer Price. I am the director of Sproul Gallery in Dunwoody. And today we are doing an interview with our very first Amplify artist winner, Christopher Michaels. Hi, Christopher.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, I just want to let everybody know who's watching. We are on Zoom and we are also on Facebook Live. And at the end of our little interview here, we will be taking questions. So please put your questions in on Facebook Live and also through Zoom chat. So Christopher, you are our very first Amplify winner. And Amplify is a brand new artist program that the Sproul Center for the Arts started, where we are doing new murals every year being posted up on our smokehouse over at the gallery. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to find out about Amplify and submit.
Okay, well, about me. I have been an artist professionally since I was about 15 years old. I started painting signs around the town I grew up in, doing some logo designs, some billboards. I did that all through college, and I've been a professional artist all along. I moved to Dunwoody when I got married 3 years ago, and I found out about this particular project. Just a friend sent me a link and said, "Hey, here's an opportunity. I know you're a painter, and this might be something interesting to you." And I saw it and had an idea immediately, and very excited that I was chosen and had an opportunity to share it.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell us about a little bit about your idea?
Okay, well, this idea was inspired by an experience that our whole family, but particularly my wife, went through. She was on her way on a run, on her way back from Lemonade Days. She was run down in a crosswalk by a distracted driver, and doctors at the time said, no, she might not walk again for unassisted ever, but it might be a year and a half before she even took another step. But through an extraordinary amount of effort and perseverance through pain, she pushed herself in therapy, and she took her very first steps in a walker about half a year later during the Butterfly Festival. So this concept, which of course the print you see behind me that's on the wall, I thought about, lemons. There's those saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And butterflies have always been symbolic of catharsis and metamorphosis and change into something beautiful. So this idea I had in my head was the segments of the lemons sort of transforming into the segments of the butterfly wings as it went across the page. And not only is it a literal representation of her journey from her Lemonade Days accident to her first steps during the Butterfly Festival, but also to everyone, to everybody who's ever had a challenge, everybody who's ever had life gives you lemons, whether it's losing your job or a challenge during these current times right now, or any challenge you're going through, to keep pushing, keep transforming, keep growing, and turn back into something beautiful, as my wife did. And she was always beautiful, of course, but beautiful in the sense that she could walk again and be herself, and her journey and her efforts to literally teach herself to walk again. And the meaning is also twofold, because we had just gotten married and I had just moved to Dunwoody, and from the very first day of her accident, neighbors, friends, complete strangers just came out of the woodwork, and people helped. They brought food to the house. They offered her rides back and forth to doctor's appointments so that I could manage her business. They helped me get her kids places they needed to be. This whole community came together as strangers to me, but immediately embraced us and helped our family out so much. And this mural is not only dedicated to my wife in honor of her efforts, but also to everyone in Dunwoody, the community, who all helped our family in such a challenging time. And I hope that when people drive by it, that they feel the same bit of inspiration and hope that this mural expresses about my wife's own journey, and they can apply that to their life, and that the colors cheer them up, and that the butterflies and everything else just gives them a happy thing to look at as they go about their day.
That's just a wonderful story. That's really great. And it's such an inspiring story. And I really hope that people can take that message and look at the piece of work on the corner of Ashford Dunwoody Road and Meadow Lane and get hope and inspiration from it.
I hope that too. It is such a joy to share that with everybody.
Yeah. So who are your artistic inspirations? Do you have a favorite artist or?
Wow, that is a very difficult question. I have so many favorite artists in so many different genres that it would be difficult to pick just one, but I would have to say my family collectively. I grew up in a family of artists. My grandmother was a painter. My granddad was a woodworker. My mother builds marionettes. My dad does woodwork. My mother's a painter. My aunt's a painter. My uncle's a photographer. My brother's a musician. Everybody, my sister makes these fantastic miniatures and these incredible little sculptures. Everybody in my family is an artist, and I felt very fortunate to grow up in a world where there was always some sort of material around. Somebody was always doing something interesting. I actually had a really, really special experience while I was painting this mural. It was on the Thursday before I finished it, and I called my grandmother. It was her 90th birthday, and she's been a painter all my life. So I called her up, wished her happy birthday, and asked her what she was doing. And she said, and she's got this fantastic Southern voice. She said, "Well, Chris, I'm doing something I haven't done in 20 years. I'm painting again." And of course, I was delighted to hear that, and asked her what she was painting. And she said, "I'm painting something you'll never guess. I'm painting a plate full of lemons." And I thought that was just the wildest thing, because there I was sitting under a tarp in the rain painting a wall full of lemons. And so that made me feel very connected to my grandmother and the artwork that my family has created over all these years. And so I would have to cite them collectively. I mean, obviously, there's a thousand painters and artists out there that are great. Salvador Dali, many people, but I would say my family were the biggest inspiration in my artwork.
That's wonderful. That's really great. So with a family full of artists, are you limited just to painting, or do you do other forms of artwork as well?
Not at all. I am a bit of the rebel in the family, I guess, in that they've all done work with wood, with found objects, painting, things like that. I actually do a lot of metal sculpture. So I was sort of the rebel with the blowtorch out there cutting up car parts and welding them together. So I do a lot of things. I do digital work, I do illustrations, I do paintings both on walls and canvas, and I enjoy doing metal sculpture, and I do some other sculpture as well. I'm working on a piece right now that I hope to pitch to the Georgia Aquarium. That's a bunch of acrylic. It's a big ceiling full of jellyfish that light up under black light, sort of a flowing, undulating type of surreal type piece. So I'm kind of all over the place, but I feel very fortunate that I get to do a variety of work with what I do, and it's fun every time.
Well, how has the response been from the mural? Have you been able to communicate with any of the Dunwoody people that kind of inspired this piece, the people that helped your wife, or people that happened to be driving or walking by during the painting process? And what was kind of the community response that you've heard so far?
Oh, it's been really great. You know, of course, at first, the Everything's Gonna Be Okay mural is a very beloved fixture. So as I was out there taking it down, building the new wall to put this one on, of course, people stopped and asked, you know, why I was taking it down, what happened to it, whatnot. But as this one began to take shape, it was great. You know, joggers, people that would come by, I'd get the same regulars each day, and they would see I was coming. They asked questions about it. I got a really good positive response from them on that. Certainly after it went public, many of the people, friends and neighbors who knew of my wife's experience have contacted me, and they were very excited to see it and very happy to stay proud of her as I am, and they were happy to see a tribute to her and to themselves as well, because it's certainly dedicated to all of them. I've been in contact with some delightful people from the newspaper. I got to meet the mayor the other night, a lot of wonderful people, and they've all been very complimentary and very excited to see a new piece of artwork up here in Dunwoody, and it's been a real joy.
Yeah, I know Sproul's really excited to have a new work up there, especially a work as beautiful and positive and bright as your piece, which I didn't realize we didn't even say the title. Would you like to share the title with everybody?
Well, the title is Find Your Wings, which, of course, just looking at the mural, you see lemons turning into these butterflies, and then they, of course, fly away. But that's also a again, tribute to my wife as she found her wings and flew again, walked again. It's all a metaphor of her getting her feet back and just pushing herself hard, pushing through physical therapy, never giving up, never stopping pushing herself and defying all expectations and walking again and getting her life back the way she had it. And that was just such an inspiring thing to watch. And I was so honored to be able to represent that in this painting.
That's right. Well, how do you feel about public art in Dunwoody in general? I mean, I know we don't have that much in here, but the city has been working very hard on a plan to pursue a public arts initiative in Dunwoody. So I was just wondering how you feel about being kind of the catalyst in that.
I'm very, very excited. I love public art, whether it is well done graffiti to professional pieces to just interesting billboards, any type of piece somewhere. I've traveled all over the world and I've seen amazing artwork in amazing cities, and I'm so excited that Dunwoody is moving in that direction too. I'm incredibly flattered and honored to be, as you said, the catalyst for it, but it'll be so exciting to see every blank wall covered in something beautiful and to give other artists such as myself an opportunity like you've given me to share their art, to express themselves, and to bring even more art and beauty into this world. I'm very, very excited to be part of.
Yeah. How do you think art affects the community as a public piece?
I think it gives people an identity. I think it makes the space that they live in, that they exist in, more beautiful, just like the artwork and photos that most people hang in their homes. You know, it inspires them, it gives them that little bit of identity, it gives them something to, even if something so simple as a landmark to tell your friend when they're almost to your house, oh, when you get to the butterfly painting, my apartment's down that road, or anywhere it is. I think people, you know, they stop and eat lunch somewhere and they like to look at a piece of artwork. They go and walk their dog or walk with their kids, and maybe it's a landmark. Maybe they pass by it every day. Maybe it's something beautiful that they go take a social media photo in front of. If nothing else, as they just drive through their town going about their business, they are surrounded with things that are just special to where they live. You know, we all have a lot of shopping centers and traffic intersections and places that don't look unlike they do elsewhere, but nowhere else has this mural or nowhere else has that mural or nowhere else has that sculpture. And anytime we can add a piece of public art, it gives an identity, it gives a stamp to that one place, to that town. And I think it makes the people who live there feel closer to it, because no other town's got that piece of artwork. No other town looks like that. No other intersection looks like that. And I think it just creates a sense of belonging and a sense of community, and that public art is for everybody to share. It's for everybody to enjoy. And I think that just bonds everybody together. And I'm hugely in favor of it.
Well, yeah, your piece, Find Your Wings, definitely does that for Dunwoody, with not only just being a huge message of perseverance and overcoming obstacles, which is something I think we can all identify with this year, but also having such strong ties to the community with Lemonade Days and the Butterfly Festival kind of represented in visual form as that metaphor. So thank you very much for being our first Amplify winner. But before I kind of wrap everything up and go to questions, one last thing for you. I want to know what's next. What's next for Christopher Michaels?
What is next? Well, I certainly look forward to some more projects such as this. I'm working on that sea creature piece I spoke of earlier, and that's part of the fun of being a freelance artist, is you don't always know what's next. I have some illustrations I'm doing right now. I'm doing a rendering of a car for somebody, a hot rod for someone. I've got a few other illustration pieces, a tattoo design for somebody else. You never know what's coming next, so that's a lot of fun. My big piece that I'm working on, of course, is that big sea creature sculpture, and it will be being worked on for probably the next 6 months or so. So that's my side piece between all of my different freelance projects that come through. But I'm always eager for the next one.
That sounds like an amazing piece, and I can't wait to see it. But let's go to our questions.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of comments that people love the mural and they love the vibrant questions, or excuse me, vibrant colors, and there are some questions that came through. This is from Sam. What does it mean to you to be a Dunwoody resident and have your artwork represented in the community?
It's an incredible honor. I'm very, very flattered. When I first moved to Dunwoody, I did not have a whole lot of contacts here. But when the community at large came out to help our family after my wife's accident, which did not happen long at all after we got married, immediately bonded me to this community. And what was at first glance a very bustling city full of people going here and there immediately became a very small town inside of a much larger town. And the sense of community, the sense of history, people who had known people for 20 or 30 years here, people lived here their whole life, people that had just moved here immediately embraced us and were so eager to help, sometimes just a complete stranger. And it means a tremendous amount of me to be a Dunwoody resident and to live here amongst so many people who were so giving to us. And this is just a small way that I can give back to them. But I'm very honored and very flattered to have been chosen by the Sproul Center for this project, and also very honored to be able to share my artwork and my story with the people of Dunwoody.
And this question is from Kenna. What is your process when designing a mural?
Ooh,
that's a great question.
That's a very good question, Kenna. A lot of times it involves just sort of sitting and staring off into space, which may not look like I'm working, but in this particular case, I started, I had this idea in my head a while back. The fact that Amanda's process happened both Lemonade Days and Butterfly Festival, I first started trying to think of how I would tie those two images together. They're both of a similar color palette. They're not really that dissimilar, and I really wish I could tell you the moment that it came to me, but I just started kind of in my head thinking lemons, butterflies, envisioning them in my head. I started to see the segments of the lemons and the segments in the butterfly wings, and it was really the space in between. I just started to think, well, as a lemon transitioned into a butterfly wing, what would happen? Well, it would become more orange. The segments would become more linear. They would become a little more off-centered, and they would start to branch out. So this one was a little more technical in that sense, but I wanted to represent Amanda's experience and my family's experience with beautiful images. I mean, obviously this is a very traumatic accident that could have had a lot of maybe grisly or gory images, but I didn't want to share that. That's not necessarily inspiring. I wanted to think of something that was beautiful and also something that would be identifiable to people in Dunwoody, even if they didn't know the story. They know the Lemonade Days, they know the Butterfly Festival. So it was a way of both telling a story that's personal to me, but also trying to find something that was relatable to everyone else. And it really just was those, to answer your question more succinctly, it was just those two icons, the lemon and the butterfly. How can I integrate those two together? And then what you see in between was just the process of me imagining those two morphing together.
That's wonderful. Well,
That's a very good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. And I would encourage everybody, when they're passing by, notice how well the composition works from a distance, but then also I encourage people to come and actually see the work close up so they can kind of see what you're talking about with that transformation from the fruit into the butterfly, the actual metamorphosis. It's kind of amazing how you split all that up within there.
Thank you very much. There are a lot of details up close, but more importantly, while you're looking at that, go inside of the gallery, because there are 1,000 other wonderful pieces of artwork in there that, not just mine, but there's so much great artwork inside. And I think that a lot of people may not know how many wonderful artists are right here in Dunwoody, and so much of their work is showcased in there. I hope they go in and look at that as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for plugging the gallery. And if you like what you see, then you can come on over to the Sproul Center for the Arts Education Center and take a class.
Absolutely. Please take a class. I've taught some painting classes myself. They're great experiences, and there are prints of this for sale in the gallery, and I'll plug that even more shamelessly so. Please go in and buy a print.
That's right.
Put some love on your wall.
Yeah, we produced 100 limited edition prints of the mural that are for sale both inside the gallery and also on our website. We have a new Shopify e-commerce site at the gallery. It's sproulgallery.myshopify.com. Check out the print and some of the other stuff that we have up there. We're adding stuff every week. So there's that. And I do have another question from, let's see, this one's from Kelly. What is your favorite medium to work with and why?
Ooh, that's a good question too, Kelly. Well, from a painting standpoint, there's watercolors, pastels, oils, acrylics. I like acrylic, which is what I've used on this mural. I like acrylic because the colors, it's almost like ink. The colors are very bold. They're very opaque. You can get some incredibly rich tones. It's very weatherproof. It's very durable. It's fun to mix. It's easy to do. Um, Outside of painting, I really enjoy metal. I love the way that metal behaves. I love the science behind it, the metallurgy, heating it with a blowtorch, welding it together, shaping it, and bending it. That's a lot of fun. I really couldn't pick between those two, but certainly acrylic is my favorite medium on two dimensionals, and three, I certainly love metal and car parts in particular. I'm a gearhead. I love motorcycles and cars, and I love taking a motor apart, taking a transmission apart, the way the gears, everything all work together and repurposing those things. That's certainly very exciting too. So acrylic and metal, that'd be my two favorites.
Well, you mentioned your car. You want to tell the folks at home a little bit about that beast that you drive? Because everybody that came to the gallery while you were working had a comment about that car. And
Oh, that's very funny. That I do drive a truck that's a little bit famous. It's been on the internet a little bit. I have a big Dodge Ram that I turned into an adventure truck. It has a bit of a sordid history, which I've told about on a YouTube channel. I won't really share it here, but it came from a law enforcement auction, and some very, very dark things happened in that vehicle prior to me owning it. I've tried to give it another life, but it certainly is a fun truck to drive, and it's kind of become my calling card, whether it is at the Caffeine and Octane car show, which I participate in, or whether I'm on the Ben Wiki YouTube channel telling stories about it. It's recognizable, and I've certainly made a lot of really good friends of people who have seen that truck. So it is kind of my calling card around town. But now that I have this mural, I'm excited that I have something other than a giant black truck with antlers on it that people might know me by.
well, at least people can wave when they see you.
Please do. It's always exciting to see somebody. So please give a wave, and I'll be very delighted.
Well, you mentioned a YouTube channel. What is that?
It's been a really good experience. There's a YouTube channel called VinWiki, like VINWIKY, like Wikipedia for VIN numbers. It's a YouTube channel it's storytellers basically, and it's people who like to tell stories about cars or things that happen in and around cars. And I've been very fortunate to have been a guest on that show several times, and have just told a lot of stories about some of the adventures that I've had over the years. And that's been the other way people know me. I've got, going up about 5 million views now of different stories. So that's how people recognize me normally with the truck. But I'm very excited to have this opportunity with the artwork to have something else to meet people and have a reason to connect with people that way.
Well, we're excited to have you be one of our first winner and call you part of our Sproul Arts family. So
I'm very, very honored to have been selected, and very flattered to be given this opportunity. It's been a tremendous experience to meet people such as yourself and Alan and all the other wonderful people that I've met during this process. And it's certainly a huge honor to be able to share my art with the city of Dunwoody, and to tribute Amanda and everybody else that helped our family during that time. And it's a tremendous honor to have been selected for the Amplify project. And I look forward to meeting more people and see what comes next.
Yes, us too. I can't wait to hear some more feedback from the community. And I guess we're wrapping it up here. And I just want to make sure that we give a shout out to the Residence Inn, who put you up for a week during your mural stay, which was, I think, a big help in kind of keeping you up all night working and then crashing.
They did. There were a couple of late nights due both to poor planning on my part and a few weather delays, and it was delightful to just walk next door and have a nice cushy bed to crash in. I'm very excited. So many restaurants that donated to this award, and I've been enjoying some of those already and look forward to those as well. All of it, the Sproul Center, the Residence Inn, the restaurants, everybody. It's been a huge honor, and I'm very grateful for everything everyone contributed. It's been fantastic.
Well, you deserve it, and I'm just so happy that Dunwoody was able to put that package together. There's a lot of good hearts and minds in Dunwoody, and I'm just excited to add to the color palette of our city with this mural.
Absolutely, as am I. It's just been a tremendous experience and a very good honor. Thank you so much for choosing me, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you, Christopher. We'll see you around town.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.